Why are they here?
Your Grace, they're from the Eastern Palace.
Shouldn't all his men be inside the Xuanwu Gate right now?
I'm afraid we've fallen into his trap.
Hey, Xingjian! Have you lost your will to live?
Your Highness, you should be worried about your own life. Soldiers, capture the traitors, so His Majesty can punish them!
Yes!
How dare you!
I should be asking you! Prince Cao Liming assembled his army at the Xuanwu Gate without permission. Jiang Chunwuji and Chu Suiliang are witnesses. There's irrefutable evidence. Now that you've committed treason, anyone has the right to punish you. Seize them right now!
Yes!
Please don't be deceived by Li Zhe's lies. He is the one who is a traitor and must be punished. His Majesty recently discovered his true motives and wrote an edict to pass the throne over to me. And if you don't believe me, go to the palace with me and see His Majesty. Then you'll know who's telling the truth. You should. Go and see for yourselves.
Nonsense! I'm the Crown Prince, as declared by His Majesty. A few days ago, His Majesty appointed Jiang Chunwuji and Chu Suiliang as regent ministers to assist me in running the state. This is a widely known fact. When did he declare that he would pass the throne to you? I will hear no more of this.
Li Jiang, His Majesty made that choice before he found out what kind of a son you really are. But now you have been exposed. When His Majesty found out that you planned to rebel, he realized he could not pass the throne over to you.
You both stick to your version of the story. We'd like to go to the palace with you and ask His Majesty for judgment.
Very well. The best solution will be to see His Majesty himself and ask him for his judgment. I just don't know if Li Jie would dare come to visit His Majesty with us.
What a joke! I'm an honest person. Why wouldn't I dare?
In that case, let's go to the palace and see what His Majesty says.
What are you waiting for? Give His Majesty his medicine.
Prince Cao, the Crown Prince, Zhang Wuji and Chu Suiliang are coming towards us with their men.
This way. There he is.
Looks like Pacing Gen was right. He's the one who can rid us of this drug addiction.
It's been many years. No one has visited this cell except for Prince Cao Li Ming and the maid who brings me my meals. Who are you people?
A young lady and I have been harmed by the poison you made. We wanted to find you to get the antidote so we could be free of this poison.
Sir, it appears as though Prince Cao has imprisoned you in this cell. He must have forced you to make poison for him. Give us the antidote, and we'll get you out. From now on, no more poisoning people, all right?
You may not believe what I'm going to say, but there's no antidote to that poison. I've been imprisoned for poison making, and I've never been ordered to make an antidote. As for me, I'm a dead man walking, and I've never dreamed of leaving. What would I need an antidote for?
Kneel and listen.
Yes, Your Majesty.
This is the Imperial Edict. Why aren't you all kneeling down? Are you disobeying? This is the Imperial Edict. The Crown Prince Lizhi has attempted to murder me. He is not suited to be the future emperor. He is hereby dethroned. Prince Cao Li Ming is talented, honest, and filial. When I was on my deathbed, he helped the court escape from danger and protected the kingdom from impending ruin. I hereby inform the people of the court and of the kingdom that I grant Li Ming the Imperial Edict, making him the Crown Prince so that he may take the throne.
Understood. Your Majesty.
His Majesty must have been deceived. I would never try to kill my father, nor would I try to rebel. I wish to see him.
This is the Imperial Edict. Lizhi, how dare you disobey it? Guards, seize Lizhi right away. If he tries to resist, then kill him.
Just try it!
To tell you the truth, His Majesty has already died.
That's impossible.
May the gods bless our tongue. Before His Majesty passed away, he discovered that Lizhi had bribed former eunuch chief Gao Quan to poison his own father. Then he declared a new crown prince who he believed possessed great talent and virtue, Prince Cao Li Ming.
That can't be. Impossible. I don't believe it. I want to see him!
His Majesty has really died. He died because you and Gao Quan had poisoned him together.
Your Grace, regicide is the worst crime imaginable. You think you can accuse the Crown Prince of such a grievous crime? With your own words, I'm the head regent minister, but I've never heard His Majesty mention any of this. As for the edict itself, it has yet to be inspected properly.
The present eunuch chief Pan Xinhai can state clearly that Lizhi had bribed Gao Quan to poison His Majesty, how he discovered the act, and how he appointed a new crown prince for our kingdom, despite the fact that he was gravely downtrodden. Pan Xinhai can testify. Pan Xinhai, it's time to be loyal to His Majesty and make known to the public what Lizhi has done.
Your Majesty, take me away with you, up in the heavens. I'll continue taking care of you. Spare me, Your Grace. Spare me, Your Grace. I've been a greedy man, and vain, but I've never killed anyone. How could I dare murder His Majesty? I would never.
Useless piece of trash. Under these circumstances, you think you can steer clear because you didn't give him the poison?
At the moment, Pan Jinhai can hardly string a sentence together. Even if he could, how do you expect us to believe the word of a eunuch?
His Highness has a point, Your Grace. You said two things. The Crown Prince murdered His Majesty, and Prince Cao is the new Crown Prince. Both very important issues. I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't trust you alone.
Zhang Sun Wuji, what do you mean? The Crown Prince has rebelled. Are you doing so too? Or have you been in collusion with him as well? When he planned the murder, were you involved too?
Stop trying to put words in our mouths! A man must pay for his own crimes. You made the poison, you must purge it. If you don't give us the antidote, I'll torture you until you beg for death.
Let him go! Please, sir. I know you don't want to leave, and you don't fear death. But you said you were guilty of many sins. I know you haven't lost your conscience yet. And that you must have been forced to make the poison. I remember when I was little, my mother told me the story. Jochu eliminates the 3 scourges. 2 parts are still vivid in my memory. One is that, by the time he wanted to work hard, he was too old to have the energy. And the other, one could die without regret, even if his epiphany was the same morning. He was a man of ambition, and his reputation will be forever remembered. Please, sir, your skills are exceptional. I beg you, please do something to help us, so that you can atone for your own sins.
Your mother must have been a generous and knowledgeable lady. The story she told you bears an important truth.
Her mother was Master An of the wardrobe service. She was savagely murdered. Liu Li wants to avenge her. That's why she's gone through all this.
You're Master An's daughter.
That's right. Good sir, you know my mother?
I not only know her, she and I were great friends in spite of our differences in age. In those times, I was the greatest pharmacist, and Master An was the most skilled weaver. We were both tired of life in the palace, and wanted to leave the palace and live normal lives. Shortly after your mother resigned, I quit my job and tried to leave. Unfortunately, as soon as I had left, I was captured by Prince Cao and imprisoned here in this dungeon to make poison for him. Eventually, I went blind down here in the dungeon. Day after day, he forced me to make poison for him. You're the master pharmacist. And you are? Good sir. I'm Sunda Chung of the Body Disposal Division. Do you remember me? Eunuch's son. I do. Of course I do.
Good sir, don't worry. We'll get you out of here and reveal what Prince Cao has done, with His Majesty as a witness.
His Majesty? Prince Cao is a sinister man. He forced me to make poison, which I'm sure he'd use on His Majesty. I'm afraid that he'll use it today. I watched the Crown Prince grow up myself. He's benevolent and generous, and loved by His Majesty. I would never have believed that he would murder his father, nor would he rebel. If anyone dares to frame him, slander him, or accuse him of being disloyal, we cannot just stand by and watch this. There's no way I can allow that.
Zhang Sun Wuji, you are the brother of the late Empress herself, making you Li Zhi's uncle. You're on his side for certain. Perhaps you are the one who came up with the rebellion for Li Zhi. Li Zhi poisoned His Majesty simply because he couldn't wait to take His Majesty's place. Today, I'll kill Li Zhi for His Majesty's sake. Guards, seize Zhang Sun Wuji and Li Zhi immediately!
Yes! Oh!
Chu Suiliang, if you don't try to stop me, you'll be seized as well.
Your Grace, I've assisted His Majesty for over 30 years. He greatly trusts me and appointed me as the Regent Minister. Do you think you can slander me with your empty words?
Pan Chenhai, Dan Qing, and Hua Qing can prove what my mother said. And all of the courtiers can testify the handwriting of the edict.
Handwriting can be forged. Those eunuchs and maids are trusted followers of you and your mother. How could we trust their testimony?
Stop! Who are you?
I wish to see Consort Yang. His Highness, I have very urgent news to report.
His Majesty passed away. No one else is allowed.
Let him speak! Doza, you have something urgent to tell me, do you? What is it?
His Majesty's alive.
What? He's still alive. I can't believe it. We're saved.
When we go and see His Majesty, he shall decide who is loyal and who is rebellious.
What's this nonsense?
It's not nonsense. Whether he's alive or dead, and who tried to kill him. When we go and see His Majesty, all of this will be clear.
His Majesty is gone. Stop uttering this nonsense. Guards, take him away and flog him to death.
How dare you? Don't forget, we are at Ganlu Hall right now. Your Grace, would you really dare kill a witness in such a flagrant way?
Your Majesty. Your Majesty. Your Majesty. Can you hear me at all, Your Majesty? Majesty, I've come too late.
Father. Wake up. Look at me. Father.
Prince Cao forced me to make many kinds of poison, but after all, I'm a physician. I save lives, not take them. Besides, he wanted to commit regicide. I knew this. Therefore, I tampered with the poison he asked me to make. What I gave to Prince Cao was not a poison. I made a sleeping drug for His Majesty.
Thank you for letting us know. On behalf of the Crown Prince, Pei Xintian, and the people of Tong, thank you.
There's no need to thank me. Your mother and I were good friends. I don't want you to be in danger. Take my advice and don't get involved. His Majesty will pass away soon. But now, there's absolutely no time to dawdle, as he could be gone at any moment. If you get to the palace, you might even get unlucky, and you have to watch him die. Then you'd die in vain, wouldn't you?
Whatever danger awaits, I must go. I can't watch the Crown Prince of Pei Xintian fall into his trap. I must go save them.
What else do you have to say? Eunuchs, Make the announcement now that His Majesty has passed away. Get the funeral ready. Stop! What do you think you're doing?
I was trained as a physician. I can check His Majesty's pulse.
There are many Imperial physicians. Why would you get that right?
Dosa. Come here.
He still has a pulse. He's alive!
Impossible. How could that be?
Your Grace!
Your Majesty.
What happened? What's all this noise?
Your Majesty.
Why are you all here?
Your Majesty. You're awake.
Long live your Majesty! Long live your Majesty!
That was close. That was close.
Son, why are you crying? You're the future Emperor of Tang. If you cry, others will tease you.
Your Majesty, if you didn't wake up, His Highness would have been wrongly executed.
What do you mean?
Your Majesty, much has happened. Consort Yang just announced that you had passed away. She read your edict to dethrone the Crown Prince, imprison him, and make Li Ming the Crown Prince. Ah!
Easy now, Your Majesty. Easy now.
Is what he says true? You released a false edict, proclaimed a new crown prince, and announced that I was dead. What did you plan to do with me? Strangle me? Poison me?
No, never.
Your Majesty, please read this.
Your Majesty, let me explain. I got ahead of myself. I was under the impression that you had died. I was so upset that I made the announcement right away. As for the edict, I discovered that the Crown Prince had tried to rebel and was unfilial. I'm a lady of the Imperial Palace. Many important courtiers are his trusted followers. They wouldn't trust me for certain. To defend our tongue, I was forced to take drastic measures.
Oh, so you think I should be grateful for you, for being so sincere to me, and arranging my own funeral?
Your Majesty, please calm down.
I'm fine. I'm not gonna die just yet. Irrefutable evidence.
Your Majesty, I speak the truth and nothing but the truth. The Crown Prince rebelled while you were in a deep sleep. I didn't know what to do and panicked and wished to punish him for you.
You say the Crown Prince wished to rebel? What evidence do you have?
His robe is embroidered with 5-clawed dragons. It's an emperor's robe. His intent to commit treason is clear. Your Majesty, check the robe he's wearing, and you'll know that I was telling the truth.
This insignia looks different from the one Dozi uses. Why is there the extra stroke? Here it is. There's an extra claw here.
4 for the prince, and 5 for the emperor. Prince Cao and his mother are ruthless. The extra stroke is very subtle. If I were to wear this robe, it would mean rebellion.
Dozi must have been forced to make it, and came up with this way to warn you.
That Doza is a clever one. And you were clever enough to spot Doza's clue. Otherwise, I would have fallen into a trap. Father, I'm wearing a robe with 4 clawed dragons. I would never be unfilial to you, nor would I ever wear anything above my authority.
Concert Young. Did you get a good look? Do you have anything else to say?
Your Highness, I've captured all your soldiers. Your time has passed. Don't bother to resist.
Your Majesty, everything is out in the clear now. It wasn't the Crown Prince who rebelled, but Prince Cao and Concubine Yang.
I've spoiled you for far too many years. How dare you betray me like this? You are such a disappointment.
Your Majesty, Prince Cao shot a whistling arrow from his courtyard to send a signal to the soldiers stationed outside Taiji Palace. Chief Guard Pei Xing has captured him. He awaits your punishment.
Wonderful. All right. All right. All these years I've spoiled you. What a son. What a son.
Your Majesty. Your Majesty. Your Majesty. I planned the whole rebellion. All by myself. Our son was not involved. I have become very ill, and am on the brink of death. I know I'm in an awkward position in the Imperial harem. I enjoy many privileges, but others gossip about me. And as long as you're alive, no one will dare hurt Ming. But you know that both you and I could die at any moment. Ming doesn't get along well with the Crown Prince. I'm afraid that after we die, he'll be executed. That is why I planned all of this. Your Majesty, please show mercy and only punish me for the fact that he's our son. Please spare him.
At last, what I feared most has become true. Here are my instructions. Consort Young and Prince Cao are to be put under house arrest. The Crown Prince is to look into the matter. This is a royal family conflict. And an imperial scandal. If this gets out, our dignity will be tarnished. All witnesses are to remain silent. No one shall find out.
Yes, Your Majesty!
I am so glad His Majesty is alive. God knows how things would have been.
Serves him well.
Watch your step.
Your Highness.
Careful. Doza. Careful!
Doza!
Doza.
Get the physicians. Hurry!
Go.
Yes!
Your Highness, please calm down. 2 physicians from the Imperial Health Institute are here. No need to worry.
Physician Zhang.
I have limited skills. I can't be certain. Your Majesty, my skills are limited too, and I dare not speak without certainty.
You too. You know what I'm like. What I can't stand most is people who avoid confrontation to keep themselves safe. Whatever problem Doza has, please be straightforward and tell me. You may not know this, but Doza has saved me many times. I highly value him. If you try to hide anything about his condition, I'll punish you both severely. If you aren't able to tell me whatever problem he has, don't dream of leaving my palace.
Please spare us, Your Highness.
Tell me.
I'm sorry, Your Highness. I wouldn't dare ask about your private matters, but in order to help the patient, I must ask just this one question. Doza is a girl, is she not? Women and men have very different physiques. A doctor won't be able to treat a patient if he doesn't even know the patient's sex before making a diagnosis. It's not possible.
But he's a man. How could he possibly be a woman?
Your Highness,
Men tend to have an abundant yang energy. It's the way our bodies are built. While women tend to have stronger yin energy. Judging by my pulse reading, I'm very certain that Doza is actually a woman.
It's an important matter. Physicians don't get it wrong.
Your Highness, are you not aware that Doza's a girl? We can see that you're very anxious about her, and we think that there must be some reason why you're hiding her identity. But now she's critically ill. If we can't confirm the patient's sex, then we won't be able to make a proper diagnosis.
Your Highness, Prince Tao's army is under control. They've been taken to the court for negotiation. Your Highness, Doza is indeed a girl. Given the circumstance, physicians, please go ahead and treat her. Your Highness, please, allow me to explain.
Doza is a girl? Shoyue, what's going on here? Tell me the truth. You heard him, did you not? Doza is a girl. She's a girl. I'll leave her to you both. Please cure her, whatever the cost. Shoyue,
As you
come with
wish.
me.
Your Highness, here's Lily's true identity. I've told you what she's gone through when she had to hide herself in the palace. Please, Your Highness. She's just a humble girl. She fights for justice, and she has rescued you from trouble many times. Please, Your Highness, spare her.
Shoyue, do you know how happy I am to know that Doza's a girl?
Your Highness, you won't punish her?
Of course not.
I'd like to thank you on behalf of Liu Li.
I won't punish Liuli. Instead, I'll help her, take revenge, and clear her mother's name. Shoyue, you were right. Liuli's a humble girl who lived in danger, but she seeks justice and never gives up in finding the truth. I won't let her down.
Thank you, Your Highness.
Shoyue, Fusheng, I have a task for each of you.
Yes.
Yes.
How is she?
I just gave her the medicine. The physician said that we should give it some time. Whether she wakes up or not will depend on the reaction.
Leave us.
Yes.
His Majesty isn't dead. His Majesty isn't dead. His Majesty isn't dead. His Highness was framed. His Highness was framed.
Liuli. I'm fine. And so is His Majesty. Don't worry. Just get some rest. Why didn't I realize that you were a girl? I should have known. You're so beautiful There could never be a man as becoming as you. Back at my palace, everyone thought I was afflicted by the incense. But I knew that I was simply enthralled. How could some incense cloud my mind so easily? It sounds ridiculous. But since that day, something hasn't felt right. I wanted to see you, but at the same time, I was also afraid to.
燃烧。